Lastly, chapter 29 reviews the way we translate participles. So it's kind of a summary way of how to reminding you how to translate participles and the options that you have as a translator. So mostly we've been focusing so far on the adverbial translation, where if it's a present participle, we use the conjunction while to help us translate. And then if it's an aorist participle, we use the conjunction after, and we can also use when to help translate something. The present participle is used to show simultaneous time. The aorist participle is used to show sequential time. The participle action comes first, and then the action of the verb. If it's an aorist participle, for the present participle, the action of the participle happens at the same time as the action of the main verb. So these are adverbial translations. But what if the participle is not modifying a verb, it's modifying a noun, and therefore it's not acting adverbially, it's acting like an adjective. The adjectival use of the participle then is something that we would translate in a number of ways. We want to use the relative pronouns who and which so that to translate the participles into a clause that modify the noun. And if the participle actually is being used as a noun, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Remember how adjectives can be used substantively as nouns, the good, the bad, and the ugly? Well, participles can do the same thing. So here is a substantival example, a very famous one. Ha sparrow. Notice that this own here, this nominative, singular, masculine, present participle ending. That is a participle. And when we see the parable of the sower, for example, literally what it says is, here's the definite article, the one who sows, where we translate the participle here. The tells us that it's being used as a noun rather than as an adjective because there's an article in front of it. And so we're artificially going to use the word one. I mean, it could be the person, but we'll just use the one. And then the participle is being translated as who sows, so the one who sows. But almost always in your English translations, it doesn't say the one who sows or the one who is sowing, which is actually more active in its use. But we often see it simply translated as the sower. For our class, try to translate it as the one who sows. If you see a participle, translate it as a participle. So look at this one. You have hoi pistuantes. This is plural. The ones, and then you have believing in a nominative masculine plural form. So the way I would translate this as the ones, because it's plural, so make sure that you have that, who believe, or the ones who are believing. Yes, it can be simply translated as the believers, but if you see a participle, at least for now, try to translate the participle. So this is a substantive use where the participle is being used as a noun, and the way it's shown that it's being used as a noun is because there's a definite article in front of it. But also, it can be used as an adjective. It can modify something, and when it modifies something, it can either use the article or not use use the article, articular, or not use the article, anarthrous. So anarthrous means without the article, articular means with the article. So let's look at this example. Ha anthropos legon to aklo estin ha didaskalos mu. All right. So the man, and then you have legon. And notice that this is a nominative masculine singular. Man is a nominative masculine singular. Legon is probably modifying anthropos. And you might be tempted to translate this as the man saying to the crowd is my teacher. But try not to translate it that way. One, it sounds awkward in English. And two, you want to translate all participles into clauses. So since legon is modifying anthropos, not the verb, we're going to translate it as who. So the man, legon, who is speaking. That's how I'm translating legon. Ta aklon, to the crowd, and then estin ha diaklasmu is my teacher. So the man who's speaking to the crowd is my teacher. Here, legon is used as an adjective. The clause who is speaking to the crowd is modifying man. So it's not any man who is my teacher. It's that man over there who's speaking to the crowd. And so this participle is being used adjectively to identify the man. Look at this one. It's translated the exact same way. Let me clear this up so you can see the difference. Where here, this is a D N A pattern where the participle is modifying the anthropos, but this is a D and DA pattern. This is an emphasized form where the adjectival slot is being filled in by the participle. So the participle can be used as an adjective. It can fill in the adjectival position in the sentence. And in this case, you would translate this as the man who is speaking to the crowd was my teacher, the exact same translation. But this particular form, where we had the two articles, and the noun and the adjective, arranged in this sequence, we know that that's an emphasized form. So the man, not just any man, but the man who is speaking to the crowd, where the who is speaking to the crowd is being emphasized because of its position in the sentence. That man speaking to the crowd was my teacher. And so the participles can follow the same rules of syntax as the adjective and modify the noun. We already went over the adverbial participles. All this is a friendly reminder that if it's a present, translate it as while. If it's an aorist, translate it with the clause using the conjunction after. And with that, we are done with both chapters 28 and 29.